10 News This Morning continues right now with some breaking news. Driver getting a push from CHP, but that car you can see plowed into a staircase right outside a home and has trapped people inside who have to wait for help.
And local firefighters and lifeguards battling over the dispatch system. Why lifeguards say how it's handled is putting lives in danger.
Despite cooling temperatures today, highs still top out well above normal. I'm pinpointing just how warm it will be in your neighborhood.
And a signal alert just issued on the 78 heading westbound. I'll have that for you next.
Critics going after President Trump about his tax return. The president's response that just popped up on Twitter.
Right now we're on top of some breaking news though. People having to be rescued from their Barrio Logan home after a driver traps them inside.
Yeah, his car plowed into a staircase just outside the home, crippled that staircase. Happened right after he got some help from CHP officers. 10 News reporter Mimi Alcala is live there. So Mimi, walk us through how this happened.
Yeah, Virginia, Jason, the car that's actually getting towed right now was actually on the Coronado Bridge. It's right over there, and then it ran out of gas. So CHP officers came and gave it a little push down that street you see there on this off-ramp, but the driver never hit the brakes. So he came barreling through a fence here, kept going, and went right into the stairs you see right over there. So at those apartment homes, there are people that live downstairs and upstairs. So the people that were downstairs were all okay, everything was fine, but the ones upstairs were obviously trapped and couldn't get out. So firefighters had to work to make sure they can get them out safely, because obviously the stairs are the only way in and out of that home. So they are doing okay right now, but the driver, however, was taken away in a neck brace. He was arrested for DUI, but is at the hospital right now. We're going to keep an eye on this developing situation for you and bring you any updates as we learn more. For now, reporting live in Barrio Logan, Mimi Alcala, 10 News.
We have a signal alert that was just issued on the 78 heading westbound. It's been here for a little while, but it looks like it's going to take them about 30 minutes or so to get everything cleared up. Westbound side right at Rancho Santa Fe. It's a crash and one car actually overturned. Right now we have 2 lanes blocked off. We're also getting reports of another accident just before this exit. So overall backup now, a 23-minute commute as you leave Escondido and continue into Oceanside. Use your alternates if you can. And of course, I'm going to continue to monitor this accident, and as soon as it clears up, I'll bring that to you. Megan?
And at least we're not dealing with some fog this morning. It's mostly clear out there. We're dealing with more clouds than fog down on the ground for your drive. In fact, Pacific Beach, like I was saying yesterday, normally on this camera you can see the waves crashing down below. You can see them today. Yesterday they were covered in fog. This morning we're seeing just high clouds streaming across our county, leaving for a mix of sun and clouds. Most of those clouds will linger in the morning, clearing into the afternoon. 72 degrees along our coast, which is cooler than the 80s we saw yesterday, and inland neighborhoods at 84, cooler than the 90s we topped off in for many areas yesterday. I'm putting together the highs for your neighborhood. I'll have that for you in San Diego's most accurate forecast in 6 minutes. Virginia?
Thank you so much, Megan. Happening today, San Diego Fire and Rescue firing back against a claim that somebody nearly drowned over the weekend because of a new dispatch system.
Yeah, the lifeguard union is criticizing the system, claiming it causes delays in water rescues. 10 News reporter Mary McKenzie is live at Mission Bay Park. And Mary, how do these 911 calls get handled?
So right now, Jason and Virginia, if you call 911 for a near drowning, like the one that happened here Sunday involving a toddler who nearly lost his life, those calls currently get routed from police dispatch, then on to fire dispatch, and then to lifeguards. And that is a recent change. It's also something lifeguards say is a problem. Fire officials, they are defending the call on Sunday and others that have been called into question recently. Response times in water rescues like the dramatic ones that we have seen over the last few weeks are critical. Fire officials say the back and forth with the lifeguard union is political. So lifeguards have even talked recently of seceding from the fire department. It's a move that the fire department says would not save money, nor would it save lives. They say they will offer proof that calls like the one that came in on Sunday and these other calls have been handled efficiently. They say they'll include audio recordings from Sunday. That will be happening later on this morning. We will be there. Live in Mission Bay Park. Mary McKenzie, 10 News.
Thank you, Mary. Now, the issue Mary's talking about is not the same as 911 delays due to staffing. The city came under fire for long 911 wait times last April after a family's dog mauled their newborn. The couple said they were just not able to get through to operators to get help. In December, Mayor Faulkner announced that the average 911 wait times in San Diego had become better than than the national benchmark. He said 93% of all calls are answered within 10 seconds. At that time, he credited a number of changes, including better recruitment and retention.
Happening today, the local battle over legal marijuana is heating up. The County Board of Supervisors trying to stop the commercialization of marijuana in unincorporated areas. And so that means no recreational pot shops and no new medical marijuana stores. Now, Rudy Reyes, you see him here. He is fighting it. He says he depends on medical marijuana after he nearly died in the Cedar Fire more than a decade ago.
I would be proposing that we set up guidelines and regulations. We set up a method so that patients or individuals who would like to be involved in this industry can be involved. Right now, all they're going to do is close the doors to a bunch of people and ultimately cause more legal problems.
Now, Reyes even ran for office against Supervisor Diane Jacob, who's leading the charge to stop recreational pot. Jacob tells 10 News she will not compromise, saying it's just not good for San Diegans.
The costs of legalizing marijuana, as well as the human toll, is something that is not good for San Diegans. It's not good for our kids, and it's not good for our communities.
Jacob says corporate profit is driving the legalization and cultivation of pot, and she opposes all of it.
Now to this developing story, the release of President Trump's 2005 tax return. Not clear whether he will talk about this during his planned trip around the country. Meanwhile, he tweeted this morning, quote, "Does anybody really believe that a reporter who nobody ever heard of went to his mailbox and found my tax returns?" The White House sent out the return itself hours after independent journalist David Cay Johnston said somebody sent a copy to him. The president had previously declined to release his taxes, citing an audit.
Yes or no, do you believe voters have a right to see your tax returns before they make a final decision?
I don't think they do.
Critics are now questioning whether the president paid his fair share as reflected in this return. Take a look. It shows he paid $38 million in taxes. His reported income, $153 million. Some are questioning his declaration of $100 million as a loss, which reduced his tax liability. Now, this release is also raising some bigger questions about President Trump's financial ties. And there you see Johnston on GMA this morning talking about what we still don't know.
Big question now is, you just got 2 pages from 2005. What doesn't this show?
Well, it doesn't tell us who Trump is beholden to. I mean, we know, for example, that he owes.
So Johnston has also been tweeting about this all morning. Mel, what's he been saying?
In Virginia, he's been tweeting about several different topics. First of all, he tweeted this right here, responding to the president's tweet saying, "Gee, Donald, your White House confirmed my story." POTUS fake tweet, sad, a phrase commonly tweeted by the president. And he also tweeted this, that his family has been harassed because of this. He said, "Trump fans call and harass my wife and one of my children after I break the story the White House confirmed. Sad. Let's have an open debate, not threats." I'm Melissa Messiha. Guys, over to you.
All right, Mel, thanks. And new from overnight, a crash started a fire in Del Cerro. Our 10 News breaking news tracker had the only camera at the scene on College Avenue at 1:30 this morning. A woman crashed into a parked truck, which hit another parked truck in front of it. That car caught fire, but neighbors put it out with a fire extinguisher. Police don't know why the woman crashed.
A heartbroken community gathered last night in Escondido. Police, meanwhile, still investigating the gang shooting that killed a woman friends describe as pure-hearted. About 200 people gathered together. They brought candles. You can hear they sang, they prayed to honor 55-year-old Catherine Kennedy. Her husband is trying to come to terms with what happened.
You know, God is God, and I'm not God, and I don't second guess God, and I don't even try to come up with reasons.
Kennedy was killed by a stray bullet in the crossfire of a gang shooting on March 7th. Investigators trying to track down that shooter.
New developments in the battle over San Diego Unified's budget. Last night, the district's board took another step toward approving its budget cuts, and that includes cutting nearly $125 million and close to 1,000 jobs. The board approved a $1.3 billion tentative budget. During and at previous meetings, both teachers and parents have spoken out against the cuts. According to the San Diego Union Tribune, it was similar last night. The board still has to approve one more interim budget before a final approval in June.
6:09. Boy, it got pretty warm in places yesterday.
It did, record warm, in fact, for Alpine and Campo, and that's the second day in a row that Alpine has broken a record high, and in fact, today I'm forecasting it to break it again, so that would be 3 days in a row. Fog, not an issue. You could see La Jolla and downtown. You could actually see them this morning. Yesterday, last couple of days, I should say, have been very foggy. As you're sitting there having your cup of coffee, temperature is very mild, 59 up to 62 degrees over the next couple of hours. And this afternoon, we'll be climbing to the 70s generally along our coastline with low to mid 80s for our inland neighborhoods. Chula Vista at 76 this afternoon and 85 in Santee. We do have cool, wet weather on the way. I'm going to pinpoint when I come back in your full forecast in about 8 minutes. Kalina?
Well, Megan, the Sigler is still in effect right now on the 78 heading westbound. We actually had another crash that popped up at Sycamore right in this area, but that one already pulled to the shoulder. However, the Sigler is still blocking the 2 right lanes. So if you're going to be traveling on the westbound side of the 78, this crash is right at Rancho Santa Fe, and we have a 28-minute commute now leaving Escondido as you continue into the Oceanside area. So it looks like it's getting worse by about 10 minutes or so. Now we have an accident that popped up on the 94 heading westbound, this time at Home Avenue. So this is just past the 805. 3 cars involved here. That center divider is blocked off. Your drive time's about 8 minutes. I'm watching these 2 accidents, and I'll let you know what your drive times look like out of the South Bay up next.